Hello everyone, my name is Rubium, and welcome to the fifth episode of the channel, and the third and second episode of the Unity Series 1. So, to get started, we'll be making a project. Now before that, I need to make sure that you have Unity 6.4 downloaded with the proper configurations. I say that so that when I'm coding or doing something, you don't get confused because syntax is different or something. So, after you've installed it, make sure that the Unity Hub installed and everything and configured. So, yet again, let's get started. I don't want to repeat myself too much. So let's go to our projects. You'll be using Unity Universal 2D. It's with the project right now. So, I'm going to call this, let's say, Unity Series 1. So, it's going to be short. All right. What do you want to save the file? That depends on you. So, all right. Let's create the project. Just gotta wait a little for it to load. Now I'll make a cover here, and when I'm back, I'll be showing it to you guys. Oh well. So my Unity project already loaded, and when you load up, you see something like this. So as you can see, there's a lot of windows. You have the hierarchy, the scene, the game window, the inspector, the project, and the console window. So I'm just gonna break it down. So let's get started with the first window we see. So the first window you might see is a project window, and that would just mainly contain all the folders. Folders. Sound like what? So with an accent when I get demonetized. So for the assets, all that we have is just for example, the scene. This will be the sample scene, the thing you can see here. You also have, for example, other settings, which might include like the lighting and the rendering, since we're using a special theme of the Unity 2D. You also have the input system, but that'll be for another video. You also got the packages, which will include some of the tools that we'll be using. And of course, that would pretty much it. Also, now let's go to the console window. So for the console window, when you run a game, you can see if the game has any errors, or if you're trying to debug anything, this is what the console window is for. Of course, you can configure that. There's a lot of things. This should stop it. This should also stop it. You also have the error and the collapse. There's a lot of things you can do here. And this is just mainly if you have any errors, when check for anything. That's why you use the console window. Now, for the hierarchy window, that will contain all the game objects that you'll use on your scene. For example, you have the main camera, which is basically what you will see in the game scene. For example, you see this. Now this will be the light, so the game has light. That's pretty much what it's for. Now, the inspector window, that will contain the properties of your game object. And what's many scripts that may be in it. And that's pretty much it for the inspector. And now, as you can see, this is like a sort of layout that I have. Of course, if you don't like how it is, you can always change it, of course. Like let's say, for example, in the project window, you don't like it how it is. You can always just make it one column, or you can make it two column. You can customize how you want. Honestly, I don't really mind. But if you want to change it, like for example, you want the objective window over here for some reason, or that, you can change it based on your likes. Things like that. Of course, I'm not gonna ask you to specific layout for the Unity series. That's based on you. So now, let's talk more about the game scene. So the game scene, as you can see, is kind of like this, blue. You can change the color here just by changing the background. Let's say, for example, you want more like a pink or red. You will see, oh god. Oh, let's change the color. There. Yeah. And of course, if you want to reverse anything you made, you can just press Control C, and it will be back to normal. So now that should be a little bit about the interface and some other things. Now let's talk a little more about movements. So for example, if you want to move in the Unity game scene, I'll be using the mouse by the way. Either you can press Shift and with your middle mouse button move. You can just, or you can just leave the middle mouse button and move. Or you can just scroll up and or down so you can zoom in or out. Oh no, my mouse is about to die. Alright. So now, what is next? Okay. Now basic overview. You now know what the hierarchy window does, which is stores your game objects. You have the project window, which you can customize as you want, which just contains the folders, assets, prehabs, or models to be using for your game. As you can see, organized. Then you have the expected window, which tells you the property of game objects. And of course, you can also customize your layout. For example, which ones some of the layouts are made over some tutorials I learned. You have the 2D game layout, which is like this. You also have the default one, which is the one that we're using for this video. Also, let's see if you want to make a new layout. Let's say, for example, you're like, what if I make this one column? And I, for example, I'm gonna make this a little on this side, right? You can, of course, later save the layout. You can even call it expansion layout. And then you create it. Then you can, for example, go to your default backend with your special layout and you let it to change. Things like that is what you can do with the layouts. It's just how you want to customize it, but it's based on you. So now, I believe this is it for a little bit of Unity interface for the episode 3. I'll be teaching you more about what game objects are, and that's pretty much it, how they work and how to move them around. And I believe that'll be it for this episode. So I wish you have a good day. I wish you, again, happy new day. See you guys. Bye. Also, before I forget, I made a little cut there. Don't worry about it. Got a check mark it so you know that we're not missing anything. Alright? So that should be the finale of the second episode, of course. So, have a nice day. Bye bye.